Hello, everybody. Max Cavalera here. Cavalera Conspiracy. You're listening to the heavy radio in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here we are.
thanks for joining us today, Max. Always a pleasure.
Good to be here talking to you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very well today, thanks, mate. I like your little guard frog that you've got in the background there. Is he watching over you?
What's that?
What a guard frog.
That's Bulbasaur from uh Pokemon.
Radio. He's watching out for you.
It's our grandkids, but I think it looks great, so I just leave it over there.
Fantastic. So, Cavalera have announced the Third World Trilogy Australian tour starting in Sydney on January 17th and moving through Brisbane, Melbourne, Hobart, and Adelaide and finishing in Fremantle on the 24th of January, mate. So, what delights have you got planned for us on this tour, mate?
Nostalgic brutality, brother.
Oh, yes.
Let me break it down for you. Why is I say nostalgic brutality? It's because it's the closest thing you can get to 1980s Brazil extreme metal scene, Morbid Visions, Bestial Devastation, Schizophrenia. It's the brutality of those records, the way they meant to be sound, the way we meant them to sound, just like the re-recordings, except it's live, it's all real live shit, no gimmicks, no other crap. It's plug your amp and go, and then like we go full on. We have the spikes, the bullet belts, like we bring everything. It's like it's like a time tunnel, like traveling in time, going back to 1983. I even say that, like, welcome to 1983, like in the middle of the set, because it does feel like, yeah, we are in 1983 in 2024. But uh, prepare yourselves for extreme a journey into the of the beginning of extreme music, man. Because that's what it is. We together we do Hellhammer and Venom. We are the kind of like pioneers of this extreme metal stuff that's big now, around the world. You have all this black metal, death metal, thrash metal, all this. That's the beginning. The Bestial Devastation is the right at the beginning of all that.
Cool. And the trilogy is, of course, the Sepultura albums, Bestial Devastation, Morbid Vision, and Schizophrenia. So does that mean that you're only going to be playing songs from those three albums?
No,
Eh?
no surprises.
All right, I won't push you for any more.
Don't make me give out the surprises, but it's definitely some surprises. Maybe a one or two cover songs that you never heard it before. We always love to throw that in. Um, there's some other Sepul stuff that people love. There's some Cavalera stuff that people love. But of course, the main show is based on the trilogy, Third World. That's why it's called Third World Trilogy. So we're gonna play most of the bulk of the material is Bestial Devastation, Morbid Vision, and Schizophrenia. But we have some other stuff also to make the show really killer. Yeah, people will not be disappointed. They will get their share fix of metal for sure.
Oh yeah. And each of those re-recorded albums featured a brand new song, mate. So you're going to be playing any of those three new ones?
Yeah, probably Sexta-feira 13 is the big one from Morbid Visions, and Nightmares of Insanity is like um really the trashier one of Schizophrenia. Uh I think it's cool that we did that. That's kind of like um Sexta-feira 13 is actually, I remember the riff from when we were kids. So that's like the original riff from before Bestial Devastation. I remember the original chorus. But Nightmares is a brand new song I created when I was making Schizophrenia. So yeah, it'd be cool to play them. You know, I think the crowd will like it.
So of course there's yourself and Igor coming over, but who makes up the rest of the band?
So we have Travis Stone. He's from Pig Destroyer and Desolus, among many other bands. Castle Freak, and then my son Igor Amadeus. He's in Healing Magic. Go Ahead and Die. He is playing bass, and of course my brother playing drums. Yep. So it's a great lineup because what I like about it is that you have the two old, you know, old farts, as I call it, me and Igor, you know, the old school dudes, you know, the wizards. And then you have the new kids, you know, the young kids. They are hungry, they are fresh, they are energetic. So the combination of the old and the new is perfect. It makes into just a great, great chemistry for the live show.
Yeah. Now I'm a father myself, bro, so I pretty much know the answer to this song. But from your point of view, man, like how cool is it having your son on one side and your brother behind you live on stage, man? Like that must just give you goosebumps every night.
Don't forget my wife on the side of the stage.
Oh, you've been there. Yeah. Sorry, Gloria.
Uh, and probably one of them selling T-shirts somewhere. Yeah, everybody knows. I'm a big into the family. You know, the metal family thing is big for me. It's kind of like how I base my life. When I got married with Gloria, I told her we're gonna start our own tribe, and that's what I meant about it. Was like creating, you know, having our own kids and hopefully get them involved in the kind of like mafia, like kind of like, you know, um a little bit like Godfather. You know, you're born into this, and there's no way out. You can't get out. You're in it. You know, um, but it's like it's incredible feeling. Yeah, like you say, having you know, my son Igor, my brother Igor on the stage at the same time. Just I never imagined that in 1,000 years that was gonna work out like this, but it did, and it's incredible. It's man, it just goes to show you that uh, you know, life is full of surprises. And after doing this for so many years, you were a dad, so you know it, how proud that can be, you know. And to me it's like incredible that I have my family with me, they're doing stuff with me, and I feel also really good because at not that I want to stop playing music, because I don't have any plans to retire or anything like that, but if I ever do, I feel that I'm secure. They will carry on, you know. They got the musicianship, the attitude to carry on, you know. So it's great. But yeah, it's fantastic having them on the stage with us. It's incredible.
I bet it is, bro. Now, the part of this tour started with the 2023 revisited releases of Bestial Devastation and Morbid Visions. So, how long had you actually been thinking about re-recording those albums before you did?
For a while now, you know, I think it started with when we start playing them live. We started with Roots. We went to Australia with the Roots tour, returned to Roots. Then we did Beneath the Remains and Arise. I think the idea playing live gave us the idea of, hey, maybe it'd be cool to re-record those old albums that sound like dog shit. Um, you know, there's a charm of that. Don't get me wrong. I love the originals, and there's definitely a charm. Morbid Visions, especially, it's out of tune. I my guitar was out of tune. I didn't know, so I recorded. The record is out of tune. I think that's why the black metal guys love it so much. You know, it's total fucking punk rock out of tune um, recording. But we, as a musician, to me, it was always frustrated to know there was great songs in those records like War, and Funeral Rites and Necromancer that you cannot even hear the riffs on the original recordings. And I was like, man, it would be cool to actually hear those riffs. There's a great riffs, they're great songs. It would be cool to actually hear them in a good setting, you know. Not really. I don't mean the re-recordings. I don't need them to be modern. We don't need a modern sound. We just need good sound, you know. So that's why we really didn't even went for a modern sound on them. It's like this. The sound is actually based on the old school sound. They just sound better than the original, and we play them tighter, more just precise, and but it's still full of piss and vinegar, and it's angry, it's dirty, you know. And that's why people like the recordings, I think, because we didn't clean anything up. We didn't polish them, you know. It's like it's still dirty and gritty and heavy, you know. It just sounds more badass with the production that we put on. And I think that's why live sounds so good because of that, because it's got the same power live, even more powerful live than the records.
So along those lines, mate, like when you initially set out to revisit the albums, did you have an open mind of how you wanted things to go, or did you sort of have a set idea of which way you wanted to steer things?
Just like everything else in life, like I do, I really kind of like just jump with my eyes closed and see what happens, you know. And those are like I think those are the best things. I think my best records were the ones that I really didn't really prepare much for. I just kind of went for it, kind of like blind faith, you know. You 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 think it's gonna get there. You don't know how eventually you get there. And and it was the same. We didn't really think too much about it. We just kind of said, I look at Igor, I was like, we can do it. Let's do it. Okay. And we went without any, like, actually you like you give zero fucks. Like, I don't care. Of course, you treat them good. You try to get them the best you can, but at the same time, it was real risky. You know, I think, you know, a lot of people actually said that about re-recording, that a lot of people don't like re-recordings. A lot of people are attached to the original. They have a hard time hearing re-recordings. But I think we managed to create something that is powerful as the original, but better sounding than the original.
And earlier this year, you completed the trilogy with the release of Schizophrenia, mate. So I know this is going to be really hard for you to do, but out of the three that you've re-recorded, which one is your personal favorite now?
Well, I think playing wise, Schizophrenia might be the best one as far as the way we playing. Sonic wise, my favorite one is actually Morbid Visions, because again, the original is out of tune